Right, the Prime Minister.
Hi, am I audible and visible?
Yep.
Okay, sorry. Okay, I'm audible. Sorry.
Yep.
Okay. My preferred pronouns are he, him. I prefer verbal POIs. I will gladly take a POI at after my setup. So starting my speech in 3, 2, 1. Feminist movements in this day and age isn't a small thing. We all have seen it. We all have scrolled through social media. We all have seen feminist movements here and there. But why should these big corporations or companies make these advertisements on feminist movement, for feminist narratives for these fashion and beauty products? And this is something that this is very important. So in my speech, I'll give a simple setup and 3 arguments. So my first setup, the definition. So the definition of feminism narrative is example for women and men are equal. And the definition of fashion and beauty products are makeup, dresses, and basically anything you can think of. So the mechanism in this debate is that the advertisement of these fashions and beauty products will utilize slogans within the feminism movements and other feminist narratives to promote their beauty products according to the region and nation. Feminist narratives can be put on the packaging or even in the label. So characterization is that the current world doesn't include feminist narratives in advertisements. Feminist movement is mostly within media circuits that doesn't get wide coverage, although there is an increase in knowledge of the movement. Women in these debates are going to be rational actors. They will not waste their savings for all of these beauty products, and because they will be able to recognize it as foolish if they do something such like that. The stakeholders are women in general. So what we're trying to prove in this debate, the burden of proof is that how by including feminist narratives in these beauty and fashion products, we are able to provide a better outcome. The stance in this debate for our side is that we support the inclusion of feminist movements in advertisement of fashion and beauty products. So, any POIs? 3, 2, 1. So, I'm going to give 3 arguments in this debate. It breaks down patriarchy system. The second one is that it helps women feel confident and not too focused on unrealistic beauty standards that the society puts onto them. And the third argument will be it helps legitimize, makes more public name for the feminism movement. So first argument, it breaks down patriarchy. Patriarchy systems are incredibly prevalent within Asian households. We always heard that men are like the king, or men are like the person who feeds the family. But it is incredibly hard for the normal feminist movement to break into these areas due to the long-rooted ties it has within the belief that a woman needs to have a child to be successful. With using beauty and fashion style products that include feminist narratives, we are able to more efficiently spread into these hard to reach areas, since at the end of the day. Why is this important? It's important because the goal of feminist movement in the end of the day is to fight for women equality. By utilizing these products, we are more effectively able to actually further these feminist movements, because these people will have to buy these fashion products at the end of the day, where they will see this and normalize it by providing a long-term solution to the feminist movements and being a household names. The impact is that it further spreads on the feminist movement, which are hard to reach areas such as Asian households, or or any American household which think that male are like the king, or like the money producers. So why is this only exclusive on our side? Because on opposition side, they don't push that much of the feminist movement, whereas on our side, we push more on the feminist movement, which breaks down the patriarchy of these Asian households, or any household that think that men are the king. So second argument is that it helps women feel confident and not too focused on unrealistic beauty standards that the society puts them onto them. The narratives and products are going to be shown in the public eye. Women are able to know that the companies are encouraging them to be more confident and let women be themselves without feeling ashamed of their own bodies. These products are meant for women to feel more confident. If the narratives are going to no one is going to support that. Even if the narrative doesn't help all women feel confident, at least some of them are able to know that, oh, hey, at least someone is actually advocating human rights. So why is this important in this debate? It's because of beauty standards are going to be capped that much. Women can do anything they want freely, because that's what we're trying to fight for, women rights. It helps women feel inclusive as companies include feminism into their products slogans. The impacts of this argument is that companies can have different people to model their products. Even though they aren't perfect, but they can still be in the public eye. And women can dress up any way they want because they're not going to feel ashamed due to the choice of their clothing. Other women wouldn't walk them because feminism is widespread. So even if in a situation where you are like an obese or fat woman, no offense, but you still will be a good model because we are only caring about the feminist movement. We are showing that every woman can have the same rights. Even though you're small, you're young, you're fat, you're thin, anything, it also works like that. So third argument is going to be help legitimize and make more of a public name for feminism. Why is this true? This is because feminism isn't widely known within developing countries. Due to them being prevalent on social media, that isn't too effective in spreading the goals of feminism around the world. Because we learn more according to advertisements other than social media. Because the thing we see other than social media is these advertisements. So people, when people see these feminist narratives within these beauty and fashion products, they will realize and acknowledge the existence that they don't include random stuff in their advertisements for the fun of it, thus letting them know this thing is trustable. So why is this important? It's important is that as it expands the range of influence of the feminist movement, spreading in areas where it wouldn't normally go. Think of ads on YouTube or billboards that actually help spread more than feminist movement could overachieve it. Even if feminist movement could achieve it, it needs a lot of resources, which these companies are basically doing for free. So in opposition side, it needs a lot of more resources, which this company basically doing for free for the movement. It legitimizes feminist movements, which makes more of a household name and to be trusted, since they know that they won't be doing irrational actions due to them being featured in these advertisements. So the impacts of this debate is that a more widespread feminist narrative that helps break down the partial system that is found within Asian household countries. Something exclusive on outside that we are more effectively to even spread around the world. With that, I've never been proud to propose.
All right. I thank the Prime Minister for that speech. Excuse me. Now I'd like to invite the Leader of Opposition, Sheshe.
Okay, just give me a few seconds to sort out my speech.
Okay.
Sort out my Okay, starting my speech in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to be doing in my speech today is extending some rebuttals to the government bench. So, one of the first things you said in this debate are that women are rational actors that don't waste money on beauty/fashion products. And we believe that this is a bit unfair because it's still a rational act to purchase these products because beauty standards have been pushed on women and they feel as if it's necessary to buy them in order to get respected in the world today. So the second thing is that you mentioned that including feminist narratives in the advertisements of fashion and makeup products is going to break down the patriarchy. And this is not only untrue, but also unrealistic because we live in a world where there are these advertisements. Like I do see these advertisements almost on the daily in Malaysia, and we still do live in a patriarchal society, so it's a bit untrue. And lastly, you said that it makes women more confident when they show women of any size and color wearing these products. But we believe that is kind of untrue because when you show women it's only beautiful and confident when they're wearing these products, it's still not making them confident. Right? So now on to my speech. So the stakeholders today are women, we agree with that. And the burden of proof that we're going to be proving today is that it's in the interest of all women to uninclude feminist narratives in the advertisements of fashion and beauty products. Why? So we believe that to align the concept of feminism with the advertisement of beauty or fashion products is a nefarious concept that essentially makes zero sense. So the reason behind this is in the past and even now, products such as makeup or fashion were used to oppress women by making them believe that they had to measure up to certain beauty standards in order to be treated as human. Like nowadays in society, like even in my class, I see that girls will often try to have a perfect hourglass figure or have skinny legs and white skin and perfect hair. And that's still a beauty standard, and they buy products to try and help them to measure up to this. And that's still not feminism. So yeah. And therefore the concept of having to dress a certain way is essentially not feminist. And so it's unfairly baiting women into buying the products because many women nowadays want to appear feminist, but they don't know where to start. And therefore, when they see the advertisements of fashion and makeup products perpetuating feminist narratives, they believe that buying the products will make them look or be feminist. And this isn't really the case. It's in fact bad for the feminist movement, and my Deputy Prime Minister will expand more on that. So now I'm going to be describing a world where there are no feminist narratives in advertisements. So women will buy the products out of choice, not out of wanting to seem feminist. And we concede to the fact that women want to buy the products because they want to measure up to beauty standards. However, the purchase is still achieved in a less nefarious way, other than just like exploiting them by baiting them into thinking that if they buy this product, they're going to be a feminist. And that's why I'm so proud to oppose. Thank you.
All right. I thank the leader of opposition for that speech. And I'll invite the Deputy Prime Minister.
Am I audible and clear?
Yep. The audio seems to be a bit soft. You might want to speak a bit louder.
Then, am I louder now?
Yep.
Okay, good to hear. Okay. Then with that, wait a second, give me a few seconds. Get ready my stuff. Okay. So starting my speech in 3, 2, 1. What I got from leader of opposition today is that sorry. Before that, let's state my POI preference. I say in verbally, and after that, not to mention my preferred pronouns he, him. Sorry about that. Okay, now starting my speech in 3, 2, 1. Leader of opposition today has only provided 2 things that are relevant within this debate about how it will be nefarious to make these women, women buy these products. However, I am going to rebut the rebuttal she provided and rebut their entire case altogether. So first of all, starting rebuttals, they claim that women are irrational actors and that they will buy these beauty products because of the beauty standards today. That is okay. We will concede to that. Yes. Okay, that may happen. However, we are going to prove that because of the widespread narrative, as we've said within our characterization, because the feminist movement is more larger, that people most of the time will understand that hey, we don't necessarily need to buy these beauty products because it's a scheme by these companies to make us buy more of it. And so what happens is that these women most likely will be rational in other acts that they're going to do, and it's not as if every single thing they're going to do is just because they feel like it. They're going to actually think before doing it, even though there is a societal pressure upon them. And so they claim that it won't break down the patriarchy because you see these ads. However, majority of the rebuttals done by LO here are majority assertion rebuttals. And so what happens is that she claims ads in Malaysia haven't broken down the patriarchy. However, I'm going to argue that this isn't a short-term way. And not to mention, as we stated within the status quo, there is no there is no advertisements including, I say, feminist narratives within it. I say within this world that we're debating in. And so what happens is that our side will be able to utilize a more long-term approach to break down the patriarchy. Why is that so? Because eventually these people have to buy beauty and I say fashion products because of the pink tax, because they are forced by societal pressure. As they have said, this is a backfire on them that they have blundered on. And so what happens is that they will buy these products, and then while they're doing it, they're going to be, I say, shown these products over here that contain feminist narratives, which gives them a chance to actually learn about feminism. And so what happens is that, okay, they say, oh, I say they won't actually feel confident wearing these products. However, okay, they are most likely going to understand about the feminist narrative and movement within that. Okay, even though they buy these products, right, they'll understand to actually self-love themselves and to actually not place unrealistic pressures upon themselves because of it, because they are able to at least have a comfort which isn't on the side of it, where they're actually going to be more, how you say, insecure, because they are like, I am not, how you say, not going to be safe. I don't feel that I don't look nice. I'm not beautiful. And because there is the unrealistic beauty standard, which is also within opposition here, they have failed to realize that there is an unrealistic beauty standard also. And so they say about how outside we have nefarious beauty concepts and basically forcing them to be perfectionists and buy it. However, we are going to say no, and that it will be worse on their side. Why is that so? Because first of all, okay, let's look at their side of the world. Their side of the world, the feminist movement has barely broken out. It's within media circles, yes, and there's more widespread knowledge. However, by using the products advertisements to spread the feminist narrative, at least in our worst case scenario, we're able to affect a minority or to actually take care of themselves and not to place these unrealistic beauty standards on them. Look at that. Their side is worse because think about it. They have no feminist narratives that helps to comfort them and to realize that, hey, I don't need to stand up to these incredibly unrealistic beauty standards. And so what happens is that they say, oh, we're unfairly baiting them to buy these products. However, I say in the other world of them, there is still going to have these baits who actually buy them. No, I'll take them at the 5th million. Now, they claim about how, you know, this buying these products makes them feminist. However, when they want to become feminist, of course they'll do research and enter these media circles that is more widespread because of this to actually become feminists. And so what happens is that our side, women are, I say, it's still symmetrical, and these women, we actually help more, how you say, more people on our side than their side, because at least we include feminist narratives even at our worst case scenario. So now that I'm done rebutting, I'll take your POI.
Can you explain how having people ask women to wear makeup in, in advertisements is feminist on your side?
That is unrealistic and uncharitable. You say that asking people to wear makeup is, I say not unrealistic beauty standards. That's also on your side. You fail to understand that this is symmetrical on both sides, and that is the unrealistic beauty standard. At least on our side, we tell you that, hey, you don't necessarily need to put makeup on every single time, and that you need to love yourself because yourself is very beautiful. And so what happens that we are more effectively able to help these people, because these people realize that, hey, I can stand up against these, how you say, unrealistic beauty standards, and that is what they're trying to appeal to. And so what happens is that now I'm done, let me get into an extension of the impacts of the arguments that my PM has provided. So the impact is that even if up here tries to argue that the benefits of this is symmetrical on both sides, our side still provides more benefits because we have already have the legitimization that op doesn't have. Thus, even at our worst case scenario, we still have legitimacy for the feminist movement that can be used to bargain with major companies. And people trust the feminist movement more since they can look up to the use of the feminist narrative being adopted by the beauty and fashion companies. They cannot say that, hey, these stuff here, they're going to exploit the women. No, because then the feminist movement will take notice and be like, no, we do not support this, and then cut off the ties with them. And so what happens is that, not to mention, I'll explain now in my fourth argument on how there is an incentive for these companies to include these feminist narratives. So in this modern day and age, people only tend to buy stuff from companies who have good coverage or good reputation. If you see a company here which is shady and had a big sale, you won't buy it from it at all. And so by a company supporting feminist movement and everything, they'll get good coverage, which makes more people willing to fight because they want to support the company that is supporting feminism. And so would you rather buy a shoe from a company with a good name or from a shoe from a company with a bad name from, using having factory workers, in horrible conditions? So why is this so important? Because it's important because it gives both sides, the feminists and the company, a majority. It's a win-win scenario. Because what happens is that the feminist gets more legitimacy, the company is going to get more profits, and it helps the feminist movement because it makes them big corporations, and then after they gain money, so it's even better for them, and it increases the income for that company. So basically more of these feminists are going to buy its products. And the impact is that it helps the company grow better as because they have the money to do so. Whereas on the other side, they do not have the power because they don't have as much high support from feminist movement. So even if they have it, okay, they're still going to grow slower, and it helps the feminist movement by letting more people know about the feminist movement. And with this, I have been never prouder to propose. So sorry for overtime.
All right, I thank the Deputy Prime Minister for that speech. I'd like to invite the Deputy Leader of Opposition. Okay.
Give me a moment. I need to set up my favorites.
Okay.
Okay, I prefer my POIs to be verbal and I have no preferred gender pronouns. Am I audible by the way?
Yep.
Okay. I'll start my speech in 3, 2, 1. So government team has given us a lot to work with here. They're telling us that, we basically just believe in choice feminism, and we believe that somehow the money that goes towards corporations are going to go to the feminist movement and not to not to line the CEO's pockets, right? They've given us a lot to work through here, and I'm going to rebut all of their points and show you how our case still stands, even though how our case will stand, right? So basically, their whole argument up to now has been basically like, women in places where they cannot easily access feminist material will be able to see these products and go, I'm a feminist now, right? However, simultaneously, they've also said that, women in these places are not stupid. They will know which real feminist products to go to. I think this is very contradictory because if you are a woman in, let's say, the Middle East, we won't have much access to resources where you can learn about real feminism and which companies are really repping and who has female CEOs, etc., right? You can't have a situation where a woman will buy your feminist products, but also be informed by your feminist products because they literally have nowhere else to go, and also be informed enough where they'll research about their product and make sure they're buying real feminist products and also kind of fake and not fake feminist products with girl power on the soap bar or something, right? And obviously, and another point that they have, which their whole case lies on, is the concept of choice feminism and how all this money go back to the feminist movement, right? So choice feminism, what is choice feminism? Choice feminism happens when you basically say, let women have fun. It does not matter if it's anti-feminist. As long as women have fun, this is great. So how is this relevant to our case? So wearing makeup in the workplace is basically a very compulsory thing for women to do, correct? And if you have all these feminist narratives going around and basically saying, wear this lipstick, it'll make you feminist and a girl boss feminist, and it'll make you the CEO one day. Well, that is false because first of all, this does not actually address all the feminist movements, all of the glass ceilings that exist in actual corporations. It is inaccurate and in fact nefarious to imply that using all of these products will make you feminist and will make women be able to break out of the glass ceiling. No, thank you, right? And it's and it's also harmful because, as I said, wearing dresses and wearing makeup is patriarchal in itself, right? No matter how you twist it, no matter how you turn it, forcing women to wear makeup in the workplace is harmful. And women who go out and buy these products, who need to work underneath a usually male CEO, will see these products and they'll be still stuck down there. No matter how much you twist it, no matter how much you turn it, no matter what, if these women still continue to buy these makeups, even if they are feminist or not, right? On your side, they will think that buying these products make them feminist and will thus be complacent in them not moving on. And this ties into my point, right? Sorry. This ties into my point. Why are buying these feminist products not feminist, and how does this stagnate the feminist movement, right? So as I said, if you are a woman and you see these products being advertised as feminist, you as a woman who either may not be informed and like who are not informed in their best case scenario, because you can't do research, you would think, oh great, I can wear this makeup and I can be a little beginner baby feminist, right? So they'll wear these products and they'll think, oh my god, I'm totally repping the feminist movement right now, correct? Right? And this is harmful because, first of all, as I said, it keeps them complacent. It keeps them wearing makeup in the workforce. It keeps them wearing makeup at home. It makes them want to wear all these beauty products, all these like facial things. Like, because even though they are still upholding patriarchy, just because these products say that, oh, you are so feminist for wearing these things, they will still buy it and wear it. And they will not think any deeper as to, why am I wearing these makeup products? Why do I buy these dresses? Because in Gov's case, where women are not informed, right? Then they're more likely. No, thank you. They'll be more likely to wear. They're more likely to buy these products. And let's say even if they were informed and they do buy real girl boss feminist products, right? Well, in their base case scenario, right? Yes, they may get slightly more feminist, but they're not going to the root of the problem. Women will still go around wearing these products and thinking that they're repping feminism while not addressing the root problem. And why is the problem not addressed in their side? I'll get to that now, right? Because obviously you'll hear more about big corporations with their huge flashy ads with their big female celebrities, right? Than like an actual feminist such as like Emma Goldberg or Roxane Gay, correct? You don't like, it's easier to sell women like makeup and stuff when they see someone who they know and like to sell and like attach like a feminist little slogan so they can have like the interest peak, right? Like compared to like a barely known woman trying to sell their feminist theory, right? Because it's like easier, it's just easier and more accessible as like they've conceded to that, as Gov has conceded to show all these ads to women, to put it on products and stuff like that, right? And I really told you why this is harmful is because it still upholds the patriarchy, because it does not get to the root of these women problems, right? So I already explained to you how this overrides like feminism in general, right? Like because like these women, they just see like all this like big flashy ads, they will like buy into it, and like in the best case scenario they may do a bit more research and that's it. It just stays there. It's like shallow. They can't really do much more work, because every time they search up feminist, they'll get makeup products instead of actual feminist, correct? When they go to like because it's like harder, and like even if they are in a place which does not have that much feminist material, right, then it'll be harder for them to find actual like feminist groups, because they're being bombarded with products, because apparently that is the only way they can have access to all of these products, correct? Right? So because of this, right, people are less aware. People are like aware of feminists. Yes, we'll concede to that, but it does not get to like the actual root of the problem, where you think where like women are actually being empowered, because as we already said, our stakeholders are women and we care about the rights of women, correct? So if you actually do care about the rights of women, you want to like get to the bottom of why you need to wear makeup to work, and not force, or not force, and like not like manipulate women into wearing feminist makeup, right? And like on their point where they said that this will create more revenue for the feminist movement is laughable, because do you really see money from L'Oreal being channeled into underground feminist movements? No, you don't. You don't see money from L'Oreal being channeled to women's groups in the Middle East. That is just a lie from the government team. And I think because of that, their point false, right? So if you do buy these products, at most, what you're doing are aligning the CEOs of either rich white women, or you're aligning the products of men who it is in their best interest to keep status quo, so they can keep slapping on these cheap feminist labels onto their products. So when you buy them, correct, they're not interested in feminism. They're interested in making money, and it's in their best interest to make sure that society stays as anti-feminist as possible, but as also like milk toast, and not like super anti-feminist, but women still buy their products, but stay at a point where like they won't channel money into feminism, right? So with that, I've never been proud to oppose.
All right, I thank the deputy leader of opposition for that speech, and I can invite the government whip here.
Can I get 30 seconds, please?
Sure.
Hi, ma'am, visible and audible.
Yep.
Thank you. Let me get my timer. Hold on. All right. She, her pronouns, verbal POIs only. Right. Starting my speech in 3, 2, 1. No one on our side have really told you that how wearing makeup or wearing dresses, fashion items from feminist narratives that the company pushes doesn't make you feminist. What we are trying to push here is only for the fact that we are able to spread feminism for towards communities and also to society now. Let's call out the opposition side here for strawmanning our case throughout their whole speeches here. They talked about how we say that we are giving profit for feminist movements when companies make money. We have never talked about this in our deputy or our LO speeches. We are only talking about how it's going to be a win-win situation because the corporations get the money, like profit, and the feminist movements gets awareness. The feminist movements does not get any money, but what they get instead is awareness, which is what the opposition side is unable to achieve here. Also then, their side is going to achieve, or I mean, get more backlash because if they're going to, because they cannot do shady things with the narratives, right? And since the feminist movements will call them out, then that means that they will be resulting into backlash here. Okay, let's move on to rebuttals. First of all, they tell you about how if you are wearing makeup and fashion products from these companies, what's the outcome is that you are not solving the patriarchy or that you are forced to do so. However, this is not true because when we have these narratives into the advertisements, what more people think that is, I don't need makeup in the workplaces. I don't need to wear very glamorously in companies or in my workplace. What really is that I can do anything I want and anything and whatever I want anytime and everywhere. So
POI.
no, thank you. So this doesn't mean that makeup is compulsory if we are using feminist narratives into advertisements because we are only advocating for feminism. We are trying to let women support our company and whatnot, but we're not trying to gaslight them into buying our products, of course. But buying our products doesn't mean that we are letting these people be feminists, right? Supporting our business, I mean, their businesses, doesn't mean that you're going to be in the feminist wars, nor that you are supporting feminism. It's just that you support the narratives of the feminist narratives and stuff like that. They've also tell you that how the patriarchy is unable to solve in our side because most CEOs are male and women have to wear makeup and dresses if the CEOs are males. Well, let's whip their case here and see if okay, let's just say this is really not true and it's really unrealistic because not all CEOs are men and not all women are forced to wear dresses and makeups. If we are selling fashion products and makeups, what we can let them do is let them feel more confident. We are not forcing them to wear them. Surely they can wear them to fit into the beauty standards, but we aren't supporting beauty standards anyway. So the main reason for them, no thank you. So the main reason for them to wear this is just because that they want to feel confident in themselves. They want to feel much more comfortable, or they want to do something with their faces and do really pretty makeup and stand out there and say, hey, I'm pretty no matter how I look like. Moving on then, they've also talked about how it's irrational for a woman to buy products that are just having feminist slogans. However, this is not true because women are going to buy things rationally anyways. They have a brain to think and they have the right to choose. So it doesn't mean that if you support our things, you are a feminist, and if you don't support our things, you are not feminist. No, it doesn't work this way. They clearly misunderstood our case and attempted to strawman our whole case together here. Now, even if at the worst case on our side, where women really think that if I don't buy these products, I'm not feminist or I don't support feminism, at least we get the awareness here, and that on opposition side they don't get the awareness because they are not going to have advocate for this. They don't have a counterfactual to say that how are you going to advocate for feminism. You don't say that you're going to go for a protest. You don't say what are your counterfactuals in none of their speeches anyway, right? All right, let's move on to clashes now. I'm bringing to you two clashes here. The first clash is on which side gains more support and has a better outcome, and the second clash is on which side is able to break the patriarchy. Now, the first clash on which side gains more support and outcome, the opposition side claims that they are able to gain more support just because that they don't use these slogans and they are not going to gaslight women into doing any buying of our products here. However, on our side, when we use all these slogans, when we have these narratives, when we have women buying our products, what is most likely going to happen is that people are able to gain the awareness here. And this is what is the outcome, right? Outcome is you are able to gain the attention, as we have said many times before. And that number two, women can feel more confident after using the products or even before using the products or even just looking at the slogans makes you feel confident and stuff like that, right? So even if not everyone or every woman supports the use of it, however, there are going to be people that are willing to support, willing to advocate all these things, and this is why our side is better. Now, the likelihood of people buying our products and spreading feminism is much higher on our side of the house because when we are using these slogans are going into the public eye, as my LO has told, as my PM has already told you, these are going to go into the public eye. People are going to be aware of this. Whereas on the opposition side of the house, then they don't have anyone to spread the awareness. And even if so, people are going to be thinking, oh, hey, these aren't even going to be in the public eye. It's just going to be protests, it's just going to be social media and stuff like that. And with that, I've never been prouder to propose. Thank you.
All right, I thank the government whip for that speech, and I can invite the op whip. Okay.
Alright, am I audible?
Yep.
Yeah, sorry about that. No. Okay, hold on. Let me set up my timer.
Okay.
So we had the opposite way. Okay, hold on. Finishing up. All right. So I can take POIs. POIs are verbal. I am he or him, male. So starting my speech in 3, 2, 1. So government has constantly been building a case about feminism, in which they are building and constantly telling us that in their world, right, the feminists using feminists to advertise your makeup programs and your makeup products will be really beneficial. However, we the opposition has already shown you why this is not beneficial. Now, first in the main okay, with the opposition, we are willing to concede that yes, with using feminism, right? Yeah, with using feminism, right, to spread as their makeup products is going to spread more awareness. However, what is the point of having more women know about this feminism if it is not true feminism, if they do not truly understand the goals or the wants or the meaning of feminism? Instead, they'll just see this one-off liner, this one-off thing, or this one saying by some celebrity, and they'll think, oh, that's feminism, whereas they're not going to truly understand what feminism is. And if women do not understand what truly feminism is, right, how can they fight for better rights? How do they know how to improve their life truly when all they mean, right? When all they know is that one of line they just read in. Now, continuing on, right, is that another problem caused by these programs, caused by this advertisement, is that when women buy things like the makeup, when they buy things and then they wear it, they think like, oh, I'm supporting feminism just by wearing this makeup. Oh, I'm supporting feminism by putting on these lipsticks. They don't know that they're actually being fed into complacency. They don't know that this patriarchy, where they're forced to wear makeup, where they're forced to dress up in a certain way, where they can't dress up wherever they want, where they need to wear this kind of makeup, they become complacent instead of actually breaking, right? instead of actually breaking feminism and stop actually breaking the patriarchy and is actually progressing and moving all forward with the feminist trait, it's actually regressing. Why? Because they believe that they are supporting it when actually they're being oppressed. It gives them this false state of mind that's actually supporting the patriarchy. And also, we believe that in our world, the difference, right, of awareness is not actually going to be a large margin. Why? Because in our world, and just like in government's world, we both have a feminist movement under social media, under media campaign, under like social programs that are able to influence and spread awareness to women other than the other than to the makeup products. And also, we believe that these programs are going to be more effective. They can truly teach the proper meaning and the proper cause that the feminist movement stand for, rather than that one-off liner you can read, right? You can read on the makeup thing. And also, we believe with the opposition, right, believe that wearing makeup still makes women feel insecure about themselves. Why? It's because they're being forced into dressing up like this. Maybe a woman doesn't want to dress up like this. Maybe they want to dress because, but because of the patriarchies and because of harsh beauty standards, they are forced to dress up like this. And using this
So
feminist
Isaac,
rejected, and using this feminist ideology to instead market it, instead of spreading it out, it will instead push more onto this harsh beauty standard, because now women are believing like, oh, if we want to improve our rights, or if we want to improve our lives, right, we gotta support this kind of beauty standard or this way, which only makes it more uncomfortable for them, because they have a hard time dressing up to these kind of standards. Now, also another one is also that even with the spread of awareness, right? Um, in our case, right? Even if in your scenario, underground feminists who actually want rights, who actually want spread, will actually have a much more difficult time being able to spread their messages, because more of their followers will have the wrong idea or the wrong thing, and also it will actually be overridden by the money and all the other products. Hold on. Also, realistically, most corporation will not be funding or supporting feminism. Instead, most corporation would be more willing to be getting the money or getting the extra profit into their pockets or in expanding their company. And therefore, we believe that companies who use this feminist slogan and use these things are not supporting the family's cause, but rather just doing it to earn more money. And because of that, the money that these women could be using to support the cause is instead going funneling and going into the pockets of CEOs, pockets of these rich people. And even if the female is a CEO, as government has said, what good will it do? The feminist cause is not being spread. The feminist cause, more women are not being aware or being taught of what true feminism is. If anything, you're just making one woman rich. That's not destroying the patriarchy. That's not increasing feminism. You're just making somebody else rich. Therefore, we believe that it is quite devilish and quite bad, right, for companies to use this feminist slogan and to to deceive their women consumers into believing that they're actually supporting feminism when they're buying these things. Now, the last day, our last point as the so let's pull it down. Let's pull it down. In Gov's world, right? In Gov's world, they're in a world where more people know about feminism, where they know more people are aware about this, but they don't know what true feminism is. They may be like, oh, we know this feminism. It's about supporting women's rights. And then we ask them, what is supporting women's rights? What are you actually supporting? They don't know. And if worst case, not, and even worse, they may be believed that they are actually supporting feminism by putting on makeup, by dressing up like this, or dressing as how these beauty standards force them to be, right? Believing that this is how feminism goes, when actually they're supporting the patriarchy. Whereas in our world, yes, we concede that there may be less awareness, but at least in our world, right, our feminists and our women, the one who know about feminism, know true feminism. They know the proper one and they know proper standards. And at least the money, right, that could have been used to support feminist cause and for feminist program is not going into the pockets of CEOs or pockets of rich companies, but rather being used to spend on more feminist program. Because as we know, right, women, although not all women are very rational, most women are rational enough to be willing to donate their money and bring their bring their wealth to support feminist cause, to support other women, and particularly oppressed women in Middle Eastern countries. And thank you for listening. That is my speech.
All right, I thank the opposition whip for that speech. Now, to summarize the debate on their behalf, I'd like to invite the opposition reply speaker. Here.
Okay, hi, just give me a second to set up. Okay. So, starting my speech in 3, 2, 1. So, one of the only things I'm going to be doing today in my speech is to be highlighting the points that we have heard from government side and proving why they are untrue and why they don't stand anymore. So, one of the main points we have heard from government side is that having advertisements include feminist narratives is going to break down the picture. And this is incredibly untrue because the wearing of makeup and certain articles of clothing in order to gain respect is still in essence upholding the patriarchy. And we have explained in depth in our speeches why. And so it doesn't really get to the root problem, which is basically people oppressing women, making them think they have to look and be a certain way in order to gain respect, in order to be like respectable and have their voice heard. So secondly, you have said that since these advertisements can be inclusive in some way, it can make women more confident. But in reality, it's still uninclusive because companies are going to cherry pick the woman they include. Like they're not going to include someone ugly. Even if they include a black woman or a fat woman, they're going to choose one that's still beautiful, right? One that society deems to be beautiful. And so it's still not inclusive because they're not including everyone. They're including who they deem appropriate. And thirdly, feminist advertisements provide legitimacy for companies and awareness for feminists is one of the points that has come from government. And this is untrue because in status quo, the revenue from these advertisements are highly unlikely to even go towards the feminist movement, and they're more likely to go into the wallets of the CEOs who own these companies. And awareness is still not achieved because it's basically just slapping a feminist logo on something and just choosing one woman to be the poster girl for it. And basically it's basically just silencing the voice of people who are saying actual feminist narratives. And yeah, because people are way more likely to listen to one celebrity and one famous brand than they are to listen to women speaking out on actual issues, because it's obviously funner to do that than to hear about the real issues, right? And lastly, you have said that advertisements will reach women who don't have access to feminist movements and therefore can spread awareness or whatever. But this is actually not too realistic because the women who see these advertisements are basically just going to be seeing what companies are telling them and not the actual feminist movement, because it's obviously not accessible to them, right? So when they see what the company tells them, is that really feminism, or is it just what the company is telling them to make them buy the product? So yeah, that point falls flat on its face. Thank you.
All right, I thank the opposition reply speaker for that speech. Now let's invite the government reply speaker. Here.
Okay, am I clear and audible?
Yep.
Oh yeah, sorry. Let me take.
Okay then. So now with that, starting my speech in 3, 2, 1. In this entire debate, opposition has been strawmanning our case and provided new material in whip and rebuttals in reply. So now that I'm going to done with that, let me call them out for multiple things. They have been continuously strawmanning our case, pushing words into our mouths that we didn't even say within this debate. They have been providing rebuttals that are irrelevant towards this debate. And so what happens is that now that I'm done calling them out, let me get into my weighing and comparisons and clashes. So weighing here, They claim that the women on their side will be better because they have programs and everything to help them. However, as we have already stated, these people are already going to be in media circles that isn't too big. The high feminist movement will not get as much awareness on their side, and they've already conceded to it, which means that our side will actually be better because more people know about it, more people will find out about it, and it will be true feminism unlike what they have been saying. And so what happens is that they claim about these people are going to buy all this. However, the issue is that these people will already still buy these beauty and fashion products already within the status quo that they have been claiming because of the irrelevant beauty standards, and donating is incredibly unrealistic. And so what happens is that on their side, they make minimal to no impact at all because the feminist movement grows only very slightly in their best case scenario. Their worst case scenario, there is barely any awareness on their side. And I say basically the feminist movement is stunted because the women are more complacent in the patriarchy. So what happens that when you look at our side, it becomes very clear that we age them out in this aspect. Because first of all, we provide more awareness. They've already conceded to that. Women will understand about feminism, look into it, and then gain a better understanding. And then not to mention, they'll spread it around. Feminism will become a household name, as that is what we have always been trying to argue for. Women, as we already said within our whip replies, they will not be complacent at all. They will actually continue to fight for feminism. And so what happens is that when we look at both sides over here, okay, the feminist movement will get more publicity, they'll be more well known, and there'll be more people fighting for feminism. And we help the people who are most vulnerable here, people within patriarchal systems, which are hard to get into. And so what happens is that on our side, we protect majority of it, and not to mention, we are able to help some people in the long term and break them out of the patriarchy. And that is very clear why we age over that, because the only people that they assist on their side is those who have money and find out about it. And so what happens is that, let's go on to comparisons. Worst case, best case. Even at their best case, okay, of them straw manning our case and claiming that, oh, this one is not actually going to go into our world. Hey, at least we are doing, a trade. The company gets profits, we get publicity. And not to mention, they won't even, be wasting money on doing publicity, unlike their, their side over there. Not to mention over here is that if they do any shady stuff, as already said within our whip, they will be called out by the feminist movement. Thus, destroying their case about basically saying that, oh, these people are going to do shady stuff. And so what happens is that, and our best case that, as I already said, we're going to get lots more publicity. Even at our worst case, okay, not true feminism, like they've always been spouting being uncharitable, our case is still going to be better because at least we have more awareness compared to the tiny circle that opposition has. And let's look at opposition best case, worst case scenario. Opposition best case, being most charitable, is only going to expand ever so slightly. And what happens is that although they claim that this is true feminism, it won't really affect them much. The impact that the feminist movement will be able to achieve in their work compared to ours will be minimal compared to what we're doing. And with that, I have been never prouder to propose.
All right, I thank the reply speaker for that speech, and that marks the end of the debate. Again, this is a silent round, so there will be no OA, and you won't be getting the verdict. Thank you for the debate. You may now leave the room and wait for the break announcement. Thanks, everyone.
For the debate.
Thank you so much for the debate.